I just love it. I love food. I love to cook food. Why wouldn't I love to shop for it? The problem is I end up with way more than I need. I spend way more money than I have to spend. And then subsequently, I eat way more than I need to eat. Do you struggle to maintain weight loss but desperately want to feel good in your own skin, confident in your clothes, and improve your overall health? If so, you're home. Hey, I'm Sam, dietitian, specialist in weight management, and former functioning fat girl. I learned the secret of how to lose and maintain weight by simply nourishing my life well. If you're ready for the sustainable nutrition strategies, consistent habits, and freedom from a self-sabotaging mindset, grab your water bottle and let's go. You are receiving such great nuggets of value from the More Than a Number podcast that you can apply to your daily habits and health goals. But if you know you need a higher touch to help you on your journey, an accountability partner to keep you focused on your goals, investigate the simplest solutions to eliminate the overwhelm of being stuck like Chuck with your weight loss attempts, and an expert to help you wade through the weeds of the 10 tons of health and nutrition information from the interwebs that may or may not be beneficial for you, I have great news. I am currently accepting one-on-one coaching clients for my 90 Days to Nourish Well program, where we eliminate the weight overwhelm and get you to start achieving long-lasting results. If that sounds like what you need, click the link in the show notes, my friend, to sign up and start moving towards your goals. I can't wait to meet you. Okay, let's dive into today's episode. Hey, it's Sam. Welcome to another episode of the More Than a Number podcast. Today's episode is kind of an addendum or like a part 2 to the previous episode, Meal Prep Made Simple. And if you remember in the last episode, or if you haven't listened to the last episode, go right back there and take a listen to it. And I give you my tips on making the meal prep process a lot more simple for you to fit your life and your lifestyle, to just get you started in a good rhythm with meal prep. Now, in order to have a good meal prep, you have to go to the grocery store, right? Guys, I gotta tell you, grocery shopping is one of my absolute favorite activities. I know, some people hate it, but I absolutely love grocery shopping. I could wander around for hours just looking at everything, touching it, turning it around, reading labels, examining all the new stuff. I just love it. I love food. I love to cook food. Why wouldn't I love to shop for it? The problem is I end up with way more than I need. I spend way more money than I have to spend. And then subsequently, I eat way more than I need to eat. Also, for me, timing really matters. And I think that's part of why some people dislike grocery shopping. So I totally get that, because if it's too crowded and there's just chaos and people everywhere, then I completely lose patience and just want to throw the cart, aka buggy if you're my mom, against the wall and leave. I like a quiet, peaceful store. So I go on Friday afternoon or evenings when most people are actually getting off work and getting ready to go on dates, going out to dinner, doing fun things. I'm single and don't really get out much. I don't know, but my idea of a fun Friday night is actually having the grocery store practically to myself and don't have to deal with the complete chaos of a crowded store. I'm a little bit wild, I know. These are my crazy Friday nights grocery shopping. So I know that there are a lot of people who hate the process of grocery shopping and feel overwhelmed doing it for a lot of different reasons. Also, I did want to mention, I know that there are a lot of people who insist that it's too expensive to eat healthy, which is another topic for another episode. And I promise you that I will do that episode because your girl could go on for literally hours about it. But for today's episode, I'm going to give you the 3 main rules to a quick and efficient grocery shopping experience. This is your grocery shopping 101, okay? Are you ready? All right, let's go. The number 1 rule of Fight Club is never, not the right thing. The number 1 rule of grocery shopping is never, ever, ever go hungry. Ever. Like, not even the slightest bit snacky or munchy. I like to physically sit down, eat my whole meal, and then go to the store, like within minutes afterwards. It can't be a few hours. Obviously, this doesn't always happen perfectly, and there are plenty of times where I end up, just having to run in after I've been running errands or whatever. And so I am a little bit hungry, and that's when I struggle more. So you want to try to, as much as possible, be able to eat an entire meal before you go to the store so that you are not in any way craving for anything. Okay? So that is rule number 1, and that will set you so many steps ahead of the game, because even if you don't have a list with you or you're not sure about something, you're so much less likely to just grab random things when you are in no way hungry. So eat before you go to the store. And then the second rule to successful grocery shopping is to have a detailed list. I am old school, so I like to just pen and paper it and take my little list with me. But I will say there have been many times where somehow, some way, I walk out of that house and the list that I just spent 5 minutes creating is left on the counter, and I don't have it with me when I get to the store, which is very frustrating. But I am still a big proponent of pen and paper. However, I know some people like to put it in the Notes app on their phone, or if you remember from the last episode, my friend George, aka ChatGPT, he can create it for you, and then you can just have it saved on your phone, or you can even make a Word document and print it out, whatever the heck floats your boat. Just so long as when you get to the store, you have a detailed list with you. And I specifically say detailed because if you put on there protein or produce, or even just fruits and vegetables, what's going to happen? You're going to get to the store, you're going to be wandering around, you're going to be looking at the different options, you're not going to know what to get, you're not going to know what you're using it for, and you're just going to put all the fruits and vegetables into your cart or buggy and, end up spending way too much money and not really have a plan for anything. So you need to have that detailed list, not fruits and vegetables, but specifically peaches, blueberries, bell peppers, mushrooms. I like to even put next to it, what it's being used for, because that helps me to kind of gauge amounts, or if I know specific amounts, especially if George has created the list for me, then, he'll say you need half a cup of mushrooms, or I don't know, a cup of blueberries, whatever. And then you can kind of look and get what you need that way. Now, side note, before going in, as I have said in previous episodes, I am a Christian, and I have sometimes a struggle with wisdom and discernment. especially when I'm going into the grocery store, because my eyes get super excited at new and shiny things. And if I kind of allow myself to just wander around, I will end up with way more than I needed. So before I go in, I sit in my car, I pray, I ask for wisdom, discernment, and self-discipline so that I make good choices, stick to the plan, and don't fall for temptation. If you are a believer, if you do pray, I strongly encourage you to incorporate that into this process, because what can happen is, and what does happen to me when I don't do these things, is I will justify bringing certain things home that I think, oh, well, I'll just eat it today and then it'll be gone. And one day is not going to ruin my progress, like my weight loss progress, right? Or my weight maintenance progress. And I'll get, I don't know, whatever, let's think, like chips or cookies or something like that, that I'm just going to go home and then eat that. Well, that becomes a binge. And in my head, I'm like, well, I have to finish it today because I can't keep eating this crap tomorrow. But it's still putting the same amount of calories, the same amount of stuff in. I still feel sick afterwards. It doesn't help my sleep. It, is like kind of the cascade, the domino effect of negativity after a binge episode. So I 100% rely on God, on the Spirit of the Lord that is inside of me to carry me through, to help keep me away from temptation. So if you are a believer, you really want to tap into the power of the Holy Spirit and really talk to him and ask him for that wisdom and discernment. If you aren't a believer or you don't pray, then you can declare a mantra over your trip that you can repeat to yourself while you're there. I am not tempted. I am at peace. I am sticking to the plan. Whatever it is, just keep repeating that to yourself. So when you find yourself picking some shiny, yummy, sparkly new thing up and looking at it and starting to justify putting it in your cart, you can kind of repeat that. I am not going to give in to temptation. Whatever it is, you just repeat it to yourself and really use that. So 1, do not go hungry. 2, have a detailed list with you. And then bonus part 2 is before you go into the store, pray, ask the Holy Spirit to guide you, or declare a mantra over that trip and repeat it to yourself the whole time that you're in the store so that you don't give in to that temptation. Now, number 3 is that you want to stick to where you need to go. Okay, so for a billion years, we gave this kind of direction or this recommendation that we are to stick to the perimeter of the store. And that recommendation is still a great recommendation. I mean, I totally understand the point of it. I believe in it. The majority of all of the quote unquote whole foods are along the perimeter of the store. So you have your produce department with your fruits and vegetables, you have the meat department with all of your proteins, you have all of the more like whole foods are along the perimeter of the store. However, I don't agree with not going up and down the aisles because I think there's a lot of things that are up and down the aisles that you're going to need. And so what you want to do when you have that detailed list is only go down the aisles that you know have what you need in it and try to stick to that. Because again, the majority, not all, but the majority of the ultra processed foods that we all want to be kind of avoiding as much as possible are typically in the aisles. However, nowadays they have all those, the end caps, and then I don't even know what you call the little like stands that are just kind of right there. Like yesterday when I was at the grocery store, I was getting my yogurt, my very favorite Faye 2% yogurt. It's like the best Greek yogurt ever. I am not sponsored, but Faye, if you hear this, hi, I'm here. I love their yogurt and spend probably more money than I should on the containers of yogurt that I take home with me. Anyway, I digress. As I was getting my Faye, there was one of those, again, I don't know what you call it, but like a stand kind of right in front of the cooler section where the yogurt, the cottage cheese, like all those things are. And it was loaded with all things pumpkin. My favorite. I am totally a basic pumpkin girly. Like, I am in no way afraid to say it loud and proud. I love me, my pumpkin, anything and everything. And boy, did they have anything and everything piled up right there on this stand, right in front of my yogurts that I was going to get. And I was like, this is why I avoid the bakery altogether. So it was right there. And so the sticking to the perimeter is not kind of the be all end all. And it doesn't always work, but you can avoid a lot of things if you stick to the perimeter and you go up and down the aisles that you need something, as opposed to just kind of getting your cart and like, you know, just sort of lollygagging, wandering up and down every aisle. Because when we do that, our eyes catch literally everything and we want to put it in the cart. Now, there are people who are paid a lot of money to design the grocery stores, and every single thing that's in the grocery store that is placed, you know, on the shelves is there for a specific reason. So somebody planned to put that thing there for a reason. So certain things are geared more towards children, which are a little bit lower on the shelves because children are typically shorter and it's eye level for them. And then certain things are higher and placed for adults that are more eye level for adults. And so every single thing is in its place for a reason. And it's all designed to reel you in and get you to put whatever it is in your cart. So if you're in any way hungry, that's going to tempt you. If you do not have a list, those things are going to tempt you. And if you just wander up and down every aisle, you're going to see all those things and they're going to end up in your cart. So every single thing that goes in the cart should have a purpose. And to quote Rob Wolf, he said on a podcast episode, I believe it was with Joe Rogan actually, that there are roughly 11,000 new food, quote unquote, food-like items that make their way into our grocery stores every year. Food-like items, AKA ultra-processed, like out of a bag or a box, food, things that are food, but have been processed a billion times over. Now, pretty much most things have been processed in one way or another, but these are the things I'm talking about, like chips, cookies, like all of those. I think of like Little Debbie snack cakes and all of those kinds of things that you find up and down the aisles that are brand new. All those pumpkin things on that table that I saw yesterday. There was like pumpkin donuts and some kind of pumpkin swirl, what do you call it? Like a coffee cake kind of thing. There was at least 10 different kinds of pumpkin something on that table. So that's what he's talking about. And so all of those things are designed to get us to see them, be like, oh, what is that? That looks glorious. I want to try it. And when we are trying to lose weight, or when we are in a good place with our weight, and so we are living our life in a healthy way and we're trying to maintain it, then we can see these things and then justify reasons why we're going to put them into our cart and take them home with us. So you really want to make sure that you have structure to it. And when you're meal prepping, if you used ChatGPT, as we talked about in the previous episode, then you already have everything in a list. It's already ready to go. And each of those things has a purpose. So just like as humans, we all have to feel like we have a purpose in this life. Everything that goes into your cart needs to have a purpose. So if you grab a bag of baby carrots and you put it in your cart, you need to know in your head, like what you're going to use that for. Those are going to be my snacks, and I'm going to make a ranch Greek yogurt dip to dip them into, and those will be my snacks for the week. And then I'm going to get these bell peppers because I'm going to chop them up, and they're going with the meal that George, aka ChatGPT, gave me to be making, and so on and so forth. Okay? And if you see something that looks interesting, that you think you want to try, maybe a vegetable that looks interesting, but you've never actually tried it before, or you heard that this, whatever it is really good for your heart health, and you've never tried it before, but you're not really sure what to do with it. Take a picture of it, and then when you're planning for the next week and you're putting everything into ChatGPT to tell you what to do, ask it to use that thing and incorporate it into whatever meals it's going to populate for you. And then you can try it. So instead of just grabbing it and throwing it in the cart because in that moment you think it looks interesting and you want to use it later, but you're not really sure how, it doesn't have a purpose at that point. So just take a picture so you remind yourself, and then tell George that you want to use that in some way. Everything needs a purpose, okay? And if it doesn't have a purpose, that's when at the end of the week, we end up throwing away $50 worth of produce that went bad because either it was just way too much that couldn't eat all of it, or we didn't know what to do with it, and so it sat in there and we just ordered food or whatever. That's even part of that episode on eating healthy does not have to cost more if everything has a purpose, okay? Couple of side tips, by the way, on produce that I really wanted to make sure I got in here, and that is fresh is not always better. So I know a lot of people stress out about getting fresh produce, that it has to be fresh from the produce department. Frozen vegetables or fruit are a lot of times more fresh than the produce that's in the produce department because they're flash frozen right after they're picked. Okay, like not the ones that are already in a bag that's like tossed in some kind of sauce or whatever like that, but just straight up frozen broccoli florets or, frozen peppers and onions, whatever. A lot of times those are even going to be more fresh. So if it is more cost efficient or even just easier time-wise, that you don't have to wash or chop anything. You just get it frozen and then throw it on a cookie sheet, put it in the oven, and you're good to go, or air fryer, whatever you're using. So do not poo-poo the frozen fruits and vegetables. Obviously, you can't make a salad with frozen vegetables, but at least, if you're going to be cooking with them, it can be a lot more cost effective and time efficient. Okay. And then canned gets a really bad rap. And here's the thing. Is it as fresh as either frozen or the fresh produce? Probably not, no. But if that's the only way, cost-wise, time-wise, that you are going to get vegetables into your life, and if you don't eat those canned vegetables, then you're going to end up just eating a bag of potato chips or something. Eat the canned vegetables. Go for it. Please go for it. If you are concerned about sodium, just rinse them. Get the low to no sodium or added salt ones. Rinse them off well. and have at it. It's still going to be a much better choice than getting ultra processed food. And then the very last thing I wanted to say about that is when you get home, before any of that produce goes into your refrigerator, wash, chop, slice, portion out, whatever you can. Because remember, everything has a purpose. So if the baby carrots are going to be your snacks, get out your little Ziploc bags or your little containers, whatever it's going to be. Portion out your carrots. If you have almonds, portion out your almonds, whatever it is, wash, chop, whatever it is. I like to do cucumbers a lot for snacks. So I will take them out of the packaging, wash them, peel them, chop them. It literally takes 2 minutes, and then put it in the fridge. Because when you're hungry, you're going to open the fridge, look at something, be like, I don't really feel like washing or chopping right now. I'm just going to grab that bag of chips. So prepare it before it goes into the fridge so that you have to do as minimal amount of work to get to it when you need it, okay? All right, this was supposed to be a mini episode just as a part 2 to the last episode, and it turned into a full-blown episode. But I think I gave you a lot of good information. I hope that you feel that way. Just to recap, never go hungry, always have a detailed list, and stick to the areas of the store where you need to stick to. Also, make sure you make that commitment to yourself, to God, to whomever, before you go into the store, that you're going to stick to getting only what you need to get and not fall into the temptation of all of those yummy smelling and looking other foods that we don't want to come into play. Okay? I hope this helped you, friends, and I can't wait to hear about all of your meal prep and grocery shopping success. Have a fabulous day. Hey, friend, I really hope you feel empowered by this episode. If so, would you take 30 seconds and share it with another friend who needs it? Also, please leave a quick review for the show on Apple Podcasts. It brings me so much joy to know this podcast is helping you. Okay, time to go nourish well, aka eat some good food. I'll meet you back here next time for another episode. I love you and God loves you. Have a beautiful day.